Hey everyone, this is Mike. So I'm going to focus a little bit more on some schools and education and students and how mental health issues can affect them. Lately in the news we've heard the rise of suicide of young people, the use of opioid use, no doubt, to deal with some of the stress. The consequences, of course, are we have helicopter parents. A 95 isn't good enough, a 99 isn't good enough, all the pressure. And I think what happens is that there used to be this focus on character education years ago in education. I'm thinking secondary schools primarily in the public school system. And you don't see too much of that these days. And I think that's a really big problem because, if students don't know how to deal with internal motivation, if they cannot deal with procrastination, if they don't know how to manage their behavior, if they don't know how to manage their stress, if they cannot regulate their emotions, if they don't know how to handle interpersonal issues, whether it's with their parents or their friends or their girlfriend or boyfriend, all of these are going to impact their academic success. And more schools, more and more colleges are also having to provide counseling and as well as remedial classes to deal with some of the academic and behavioral problems and emotional problems that students feel. I think this is a missing piece in the public school education. We focus more and more on making sure that the academics are more easily taken in by students, basically catering to them, make it more engaging, make it more fun, like you're the cruise ship activities director, and you've got to come up with more fun activities, as opposed to helping students prepare for the real world. And part of that is self-education. I think if students knew how to deal with stress, if they could manage their behaviors, if they could regulate their emotions, if they learned how to develop internal motivation to make better choices, to think more rationally and use cognitive thoughts, they would probably get much better academics because their relationships with the people in their lives that matter, with their friends, with their family, with their teachers, with their peers, they would be so much more improved, and the results academically would be so much better. But we don't have that. I mean, schools don't offer credit classes in an emotional and social and cognitive development program. What are we going to do there? I guess it could be part of health. I guess it could be part of maybe like an advisory class. But if it doesn't fit into the category of math, reading, writing, English, social studies, science, physical education, art, music, why would schools spend the time offering these classes? Even though in the long run it would be better. So I think a lot of the schools have reached the plateau in terms of differentiating and engaging students with the curriculum. It's not about that. It's not about let's make it easier for the students to learn. Let's continue to force feed them, to spoon feed them, to allow them to continue to be passive recipients. I think we could teach any way that we want, but if students themselves understood themselves better, their emotions, their behavior, it wouldn't even matter as much how we taught, because they would take responsibility for their own learning. They would understand that they were in charge of their own life and take more ownership into their learning, and I think we'd get much better results. All right, I'll speak to you next time. Thanks.